Welcome to the Lady Landlords podcast, where we empower women to gain financial independence through real estate investing. I'm your host, Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. If you're ready to buy, manage, and grow your real estate portfolio, then let's get started.
Have you ever had a bad experience with a contractor, or maybe heard of somebody else mentioning that? Well, today I'm going to share my top tips to make sure that your next renovation project goes well. So, welcome back to the Lady Landlords podcast. My name is Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. And I currently, if you had listened to last week's episode, am working through a current renovation on a property. And it's a property that is going to probably take about 6 to 8 weeks for us to be able to break down, have that work done, and move forward. So, not a crazy renovation, not a gut rehab for sure, but still quite a bit of work before we can actually move forward with this property. As always happens, there's been some great things over the past few weeks as we got started, and there's been some things that have been popping up that have not been my favorite to deal with, so I figured why not share my best tips and what's been working for me and how to avoid the problems I've been having with all of you. So, one of the first places you want to start with this, even before you pick your contractor, is you need to interview them and get referrals, okay? There is no need to absolutely just go with the very first person you talk to. Make sure to talk to a few different contractors. Make sure you get different estimates. Prices could be different. Styles of how they like to work, how they organize their business are going to be different amongst different contractors. It's important to have those conversations with them about what that looks like so you can decide who's going to be really good for you. Also, always check referrals. This is something that you want to make sure to ask some really good questions and talk to a good couple people, right? For example, I tend to be in a lot of Facebook groups, believe it or not. And often there I'll see referrals where somebody will say, oh, my partner does this job, or my partner can come do this for you. And a lot of times I want to make sure that I'm saying no. I want to talk to the people that are paying for these services. I want to know what that's going to look like and what that person's going to say. Take your time, and you really want to make sure that you are doing these things up front. We don't want to then be closing on a property and then have it sitting there being empty as we're shopping around for our contractors. You want to start to do that work ahead of time so that way you can have everything aligned, because time will save you money. Also, something that is a big red flag for me when it comes to talking about contractors, if they are not willing to provide a written agreement, I'm out of there. That part is already going to be concerning to me. You need to have a clear agreement. You need to have a scope of work. You need to have timelines, deadlines, costs, all of those things really written out and clear. So do make sure that that is a question you're going to ask and see what a sample agreement is going to look like. Are they just going to give you a receipt that's just going to say, hey, paint house, and it's going to be this price? Or is this actually going to state, hey, who's buying materials? Who's responsible for transporting those materials? When is the project going to start? When's it going to complete? Who's actually going to be on site? Is it the person you're speaking to? Or do they have a team? Are they going to be doing that work? You want to make sure that those things are worked out. It's very important, especially when you're thinking about the amount of money that you're going to be spending, not just on the work, but also the cost of carrying that property. If you now have to have a vacancy, or if this is a property that you are flipping and you need to make sure to get it sold during a certain season to get back the money or refinance in a certain way that you were planning on, you need to be asking these questions, okay? This is a pretty serious thing to be setting up. This isn't something that we just want to go in and just say, cool, well, we shook hands, so it should perfectly be fine. You want that in writing and be clear. Also, there are ways that you could start thinking of ways to incentivize your contractors, right? So for example, money is time. You want to really be able to talk to that contractor about what they look for in payments. Some contractors want monies up front. Some want monies for materials up front. Some are then going to ask for different time points to have different percentages. You want to understand what that's going to look like and what they're looking for. Okay. Clearly, you need to make it work with you. You need to make sure that it's going to still fit with what you need and what you're looking to have within your own rehab and the numbers and everything that you did within your deal analysis already. But That's where then you could start to look for an opportunity and say, hey, can we move this pay schedule up if they finish the work sooner? That could be in your best interest. So it's a great opportunity to have those conversations and think about where there's that wiggle room. You want to really make sure that you understand your plan so you can see what you can work into these things and what you could do to say, hey, this would be really better for me if things would happen in this form. So you know what? I'm going to see what I can do to get the contractor on that timeline or get his team there or be able to put an extra worker on this project and see how then that would impact your timeline, your flip numbers, your refinance numbers, whatever it may be. Okay. One of the most important things for me is always communication, and that goes for anybody that I am hiring. One thing that I want to make sure that I'm doing is really understanding how people like to communicate. When you think of a contractor, they're usually not sitting behind offices. They're not on computers. They're not in a place where you can just kind of call an office phone and be able to catch them at any times. They're probably going to be working with their hands. They're probably going to be off site. They're probably going to be on their phones, if anything. So you really want to discuss, well, what does that process look like? This is going to be incredibly important, especially if you are doing these renovations from long distance, and it's not a place where you're going to be able to go onto the job site at all the time. Are you going to be working with somebody that's going to be comfortable doing some FaceTiming with you to be able to show you things? Are they going to be somebody that's going to be able to send you pictures? Is there going to be a regular time if the project is large? Then you can say, hey, we need regular check-in times to be able to review what is happening and what is going through with those things and where your status updates are. So you want to discuss what that communication looks like to make sure everybody's on the same page and everybody has the same expectations. To me, most projects fail because expectations were not clearly defined and were not discussed up front. One of the things that I like to do, and I'm doing for this renovation, is since we have multiple rooms that are being impacted with this renovation, we made sure to have pictures of each room taken and then now added onto it with what color each wall was going to be or what the molding was going to be. So we had those things clearly marked. So that way, if the contractor's not there, but his team is, he knows what doorknobs are being used in which room and which color and which faucet is going where to really make sure that there is no mistake and then no delay or no work having to be done multiple times because of a miscommunication. Here, that was something that we were able to produce what those mock-ups would look like. We were able to review them with the head contractor, so we know that he's understanding of that. And then now, since they are in every single room, I also can feel certain that all of the different workers are also aware, even if that head contractor failed to communicate those things. It is just a nice safety guard. I have a deadline, I have a timeline, time is money. And therefore, it's really important for me to make sure that these things stay on track with it. And these are my tips for it. So what do you do to make sure that contractors and yourself have a great working relationship? Feel free to throw down in the comment section. I would love to see what else you're doing to work with contractors that you found helpful, as it'll always make sure to help our Lady Landlords community. Thank you very much for joining me today as I gave you my tips there. But now back to my renovation. Feel free to make sure that you subscribe to the Lady Landlords podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, or if you are watching us over on YouTube. And I will see you all back in the Lady Landlords Facebook group soon.
Thank you for listening to the Lady Landlords podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate investing journey, visit lady-landlords.com to book a 15-minute orientation call with me and see if you're ready to join our mentorship program. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter and join our Facebook group for exclusive real estate investing tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a Lady Landlord today.